The question for today is, why do people not trust the infinite banking concept? When they first hear about it, why is it that their mind goes straight to the negative? That's so simple. And that's exactly what I want to talk about, because I was one of them. I remember when I first heard about the infinite banking concept, I'm like, no, it does not work like that. That thing, that whole life product, no way it does that. You can't put money in that whole life and immediately take a loan from it. I should know, I'm a financial advisor. Duh, that was me way back in 2014 when I first learned about the infinite banking concept. And I learned about it from someone that I trusted, somebody that I borrowed money from, somebody that I looked at way up here because they were living the life I wanted to live. Hence, they were lending me money because hence they had figured out the ultimate in real estate is being the bank. So what are the reasons why so many people, now let's just call the so many peoples the 95%ers, because literally there really could be a break in people. If you took the entire population, you could break them up into two different groups. It's quite simple. Matter of fact, there's been multiple studies, and if you follow Earl Nightingale, you will hear about those studies. The 5 and the 95. So what are they? Well, the 5% are those that are successful. Now, I know that's cliche for me to say, but why are they successful is the question you should be asking yourself. They are successful for one reason. They created. That was it. They created something. They created their dream, their goal. They created the life they live. They single-handedly fought through failure. They fought through other people telling them they shouldn't, they couldn't, they wouldn't, they're stupid for doing it, but they didn't listen. They took the path least followed, and they created the life they want. So if that's the 5%, and listen, you can go to Social Security Administration and you can see the statistics, because it says out of 100 people, only 5 will be financially secure at the age of retirement. 5%. So the other side of the coin, the other side of the population are the 95%ers. Let's talk about them. What did they do? They conformed. That is quite simply how you fail. You conform. You conform to somebody else's reality, somebody else's failed dream, somebody else's failed plan, and somebody else's ideas and thoughts about what life should be, based on their experiences, not based on their dreams. They were seeking security. They were seeking comfort. They didn't want to go out and be the risk takers like the 5% that had to risk it all to chase their dreams and goals. The 95% conform to just being average, to being okay. And that is okay until the 95% start trying to tell the 5% how they should live their life, which is exactly where the basis for today's discussion starts. Why do so many people not trust the infinite banking concept? Let's get into it. So today we're going to talk about the reasons why most people, for some reason in the beginning, do not trust the infinite banking concept. They think it's a scam. They think it's too good to be true. They just can't wrap their head around it, although it's very simple. And I can tell you this, by the end of this video, I'm going to lay out the path on how you can get through the thick, the others, the conformers, how you can beat them at their own game when they try to talk you down from chasing your dream and following this path, the path of the 5%. So let's talk about some of the gurus out there who say that infinite banking is a scam. And then I'm going to explain what the infinite banking concepts are so that you understand that it's not a scam at all, because it's just a simple process. So who are some of these gurus? Well, most commonly, and the one that I love to pick on, is a man by the name of Dave Ramsey. You've probably heard of Dave Ramsey. Matter of fact, I admire Dave Ramsey because he helps a lot of people out of debt. The problem with someone, a guru like Dave Ramsey, is they get so caught up in their own world that eventually They believe nothing else. They don't think anything else exists. They literally shut down that creative part of their mind, and they simply tell the same story over and over and over and over and over. And that story gets old for a lot of people that know what other people don't know. Like when Dave Ramsey says, oh, you shouldn't have any debt. And I remember hearing him talk to this one couple about how they were given a house. Their family members gave them a house, and that house had a private loan, I think it was 0% or 1% private loan. And Dave Ramsey said they should pay that house off. They should pay that private loan off to their family members. I'm sitting there like, oh my God, he didn't just say that. He didn't just say that. That's the stupidest thing. You could put that money in a savings account, a money market account, a treasury bond, a T-bill, and make more than what those family members were charging on that private mortgage, on that gifted house. But Dave was like, no, 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 you gotta pay that off. Debt is bad. Not all debt's bad, Dave. And not all whole life is bad. And Dave, you gotta open your mind because you've shut down that creative part. Anyway, Dave Ramsey did a video that said the infinite banking concept is a scam. Now, I did a debate, a rebuttal video on that, and I really didn't beat Dave up. All I did is every time where Dave was wrong and started acting like he knew something that he didn't know, I called him out. And if you go through that video, you will count over 20 different times Dave Ramsey got it wrong. Dave Ramsey has no idea what the infinite banking concept is, because Dave Ramsey thinks the infinite banking concept is a product. He thinks it's a whole life policy, which he couldn't be more wrong. The infinite banking concept, grab a pen and write this down. The infinite banking concept is a process that allows you to take back the banking functions in your life. Dave, take the pen and put it in your ear or eye or whatever you choose, because you don't know, dude. It's a process. Now, that process is escalated, is made more efficient through a product that Dave hates called whole life insurance. But Dave thinks that all whole life is exactly the same, and so does Susie Orman. She says the exact same thing. But you see, there's one commonality between Dave and Susie and all the Primerica agents out there who hate the infinite banking concept, and that is this. They all say buy term, invest the difference. They say that is the ultimate, that is the only thing you should do. Buy term and invest the difference, and you will be fine. Now, I have actually gone in and done a study. I've gone in and done my due diligence, like Dave should have done his due diligence. My due diligence on buy term and invest the difference to see how many people that are told to do that actually do that. Like how many people buy the term policy and take the difference that they would have paid on a whole life policy and invest it, and continue to invest it until someday in the future, that difference that was invested and grew at the rule of 72's number of 7%, 7.2 to be exact, and then doubled and doubled and doubled, as Dave always says, oh, your money will double every 10 years at 7.2, or if you get 10%, it'll double every 7.2. And to get that big return, all you gotta do is talk to my certified financial advisors. By the way, you know what those certified financial advisors are? People that just pay Dave. Yeah, they just pay Dave. They pay him to be a certified financial advisor. They don't need any credibility. They don't need any certifications. They don't need to even be anything good. They just pay Dave, and Dave sends them leads. Yeah, okay, anyway, back to the point. If the infinite banking concept is a process that is made more efficient through a vehicle called a whole life policy, now we must determine, is it the same whole life on every single infinite banking concept's process? Like, is it just one product? Is it just a whole life? Is there only one kind of whole life? Well, that's where you would be wrong, Dave, because Dave treats whole life like they're all exactly the same. That would be like saying, hey, there's only one kind of Ford Focus. Yep, that blue one on the showroom floor. There's nothing else. You can't get any other Ford Focus. That is the only model available. Think about all the cars out there. Is there only one model? Nope. There's the base model, which is usually the cheapest, and then you can add all of them on, and then there's always the really fancy model that's usually got the turbochargers, it's a little bit lower, got the really fancy spoilers. I'm talking Ford Focuses, but like look at any brand. The bigger models usually have the big bi-turbo V8s and they go super fast and they got X amount of horsepower and they go 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. That's neck breaking, but okay, you get it. Now Ken Block, the late Ken Block, was a famous rally cross racer. He raced rally cars. Now what kind of car did he race for a large portion of his career? Fords. So you're telling me that Ken Block went around turns at 130 miles an hour in complete control with endless power in a base Ford Focus that he just went to the Ford dealership and took off the showroom floor? No, his Ford Focus was designed and engineered to do that, to go 130 sideways around turns in full control with endless power. So now let's transition that same mentality of design and engineer over to a whole life policy from a mutually owned company that pays dividends. Because first off, Dave, it's got to be a whole life policy from a mutually owned company, and I bring that up because in that video, the infinite banking concept is a scam that Dave did. He said that one of the whole life policies was from Prudential. Oh my God, I have never heard one person in the infinite banking space say, even mumble the word Prudential, because Prudential is not the kind of company that you would use to design a whole life. Matter of fact, I don't even think Prudential has whole life policies anymore. Anyway, that's not important. So now we got a mutually owned life insurance company, we've got a whole life policy, and the mutually owned insurance company pays dividends every single year. So now what's different about that whole life policy, okay, that your broke-ass brother-in-law sold, or that Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman are talking about, and the one that you would use for the infinite banking concept, the one that we would design? Design and engineering, I just said it. We literally design it backwards. We design it so that when you put money in it, you have immediate access in the first 30 days. We design it so you have a high early cash value that you can use. We design it so that when you take money out, you still earn interest and dividends on all the money that you put in. So you get to make money on the same dollar twice. Anyway, I'm not going to get into all of that, but let's just pause for a second because I'm getting riled up, I'm getting excited. But before we do that, I'd like you to do something that will get you super excited. I'd like you to click that subscribe button right there, and there's a little bell up top, coming in hot. I would love... You all right, Cash? Oh, shit. Whew. It only clipped his tail. No kitties were harmed in the making of this video. So, if the policies that we use for the process called the infinite banking concept are designed and engineered to work for this privatized banking concept, then why doesn't Dave know this? How come he hasn't just done a little bit of research? How come in every video he discusses whole life as being a high-priced, high-commission, terrible place to put your money? You see, when we design these policies, we design them with the lowest commissions because that's how it works. We put the lowest death benefit on, we supplement the death benefit to satisfy the IRS rules called the MEC 7 pay rule. I know you're probably like, what is all this crap? Just hear me out. And then we use, well, you know what it is? Dave, what do we use? Dave, you talk about it every day. What do we use? Term insurance. Yeah, inside the whole life policy, we support the death benefit. We make up the difference in the death benefit that's needed so that this vehicle stays tax-free. Oh yeah, whole life policies, the internal cash value grows tax-free if designed right. That's the whole MEC 7 pay. Anyway, not getting into the details, but we literally design it with the lowest death benefit. We use term riders to support that, which Dave should send me a freaking thank you letter saying, Chris, I had it all wrong all these years. I didn't know you guys use term insurance inside those policies. Congratulations, I finally learned something that I thought I knew what I didn't know. Something like that. Anyway, yeah. When we design and engineer the whole life policy, it looks nothing like the whole life that Dave's talking about. Nothing like the whole life your broke-ass brother-in-law tried selling you so that he could make his car payment, his mortgage payment, and buy his groceries and his bills for the entire month. He's trying to hit a home run on every single whole life policy your broke-ass brother-in-law is trying to sell everybody when he should be thinking, hey, maybe, just maybe, I should try to solve my client's problems first before I try to solve my problems. Let me repeat that. One of the things that I've learned in the over 20 years of being from a financial advisor to now doing what I do, teaching people how to take back control of their money by being the bank, one of the things I've learned is the most important thing is that we focus on you. We focus on your needs and goals. We focus on how to solve your needs and goals. Because if I can't solve your problem, don't do business with me. Don't do any business with anything that I ever teach. But you know, here's the funny thing. We have over 8,000 clients in the US and more in Canada. Not one negative comment anywhere out there in cyberspace world of Reddit or whatever you follow. Not one complaint. Over 8,000 clients, not one complaint, which should tell you one thing. We solve a lot of people's problems. And another thing it should tell you is this actually works. Because it does. The infinite banking concept actually works, believe it or not. You know, so when you're following the gurus and the conformers and the 95%ers that tell you that it doesn't, that it couldn't, that it's a stupid idea, and they're always the people closest to you, ask yourself what Will Rogers always says. And Will Rogers says the biggest problem with people is not what they don't know. He said the biggest problem with people is what they think they know that just ain't so. Because the infinite banking concept is just a process of you taking back the banking functions in your life. Now, I'm not going to get into all of the specifics about that in today's video, but I've got about 985 other videos showing you what the infinite banking concept is, how to design these policies, all the secret sauce on how to design an IBC policy, behind the scenes stuff. Oh yeah, we got videos on everything. So why isn't Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman watching those videos to learn what it is we do so they can speak intelligently? Because they have conformed to their own conclusion that there is nothing better than the buy term, invest the difference. Which, remember I mentioned I did my due diligence on? It doesn't work over 80% of the time. Why? Well, because people don't save the difference. People don't invest the difference. What else don't they do? Well, when they invest the difference, they go in and they steal from the cookie jar. Oh yeah, they want a cookie. Nobody will see me take this out of here. Yep. Oh, I need a new car. Oh, go to the cookie jar. I know it's supposed to be to make sure that someday when this term policy ends, I'm going to be able to self-insure. I'm going to be able to retire and sail off into the sunset because my money's going to double over and over and over again. But every time you take money out of the cookie jar, you're ruining that. And over 80%, I think it's actually higher, but that was the report I saw. Over 80% of people that do buy term, invest the difference, fail. And here's what failing looks like with buy term, invest the difference. You bought a term policy, which should tell you it's for a term of time. And if you look at the insurance company's stats on term insurance, they pay out death benefits on all term policies, every term policy ever written by Dave Ramsey and everybody else, less than 2% of the time. So that means term insurance makes it one of the most profitable products insurance companies sell because they only have to pay out on less than 2%. So if they pay out on less than 2%, what must happen for buy term, invest the difference to work? Well, you must invest the difference, and you must not touch the money in the cookie jar, and you must let it go and compound and grow and never, ever, ever interrupt and take any of the money out of there so that someday when your term policy ends, which I promise you it will end, and for most of you, over 98% of you, not even the 95%ers, 98%ers, for 98% of you, the term policy will end before you graduate and go on to heaven. That's right. It is designed to not pay out. They have actuaries that know when you're going to die. Yes, they can tell you exactly when you're going to die. It's freakish, I know, but they have done the studies. And because they know when we're all going to die, they know when they issue a term policy for 5, 10, 20, 30 years, there is less than a 2% chance that they're ever going to have to pay out for you dying. Profit, profit, profit. So if you had a product like term insurance that was profitable 98+% of the time, which one would you advertise? Which one would you advertise? Would you advertise the term policy that you only have to pay out on less than 2%, or would you advertise whole life insurance that you have to pay out on 100% of the time? Yeah, because if you haven't already been following this, whole life is for your whole life. You can't outlive it. It doesn't end unless you lapse it, unless you cancel it. It never ends. It's for your whole life. So do you want to advertise the one that has to pay out 100% of the time? Or do you want to advertise the one that has to pay out less than 2% if you're the insurance company? And then you said term, right? Okay, put it in the chat. I just want to make sure you're remembering this. Okay, now you've got that product that pays out less than 2% of the time. So now what would you do if you were an insurance company? You would train all your brokers and all your agents and everybody to sell what product? The one that pays out 100% of the time, that is least profitable, or the one that pays out less than 2% of the time? Right, the profitable one. You'd train everybody to buy term, and then what you would do is you'd go out and you'd buy a mutual fund company, or you'd create a mutual fund company or an investment division that sells the investments, so that when they buy the term, you basically tell them invest the difference. So the insurance companies are making money twice off of you. Buy term, invest the difference. Two profit centers, one which certainly will more than likely fail for 98+% of the people, and then the investment part, they don't care what happens over there. They're getting charged, you're getting charged fees every single month, every single year, ongoing, as long as you got the money invested. Now, if you bought individual stocks, that's a different story, but insurance companies typically will tell you to buy annuities, variable annuities. They'll tell you to buy mutual funds from their brokerage account, from their financial advisors, or hell, they just tell you to go to one of Dave's certified financial advisors that writes a check to Dave every single month to have the ability to say,
hey, I am a Dave Ramsey certified financial advisor.
Anyway, you getting the point? Do you know now why people tell you that this is a scam, this doesn't work? It's not at all because it doesn't work. It's because it's not part of what the 95%ers have conformed to believing. They have conformed to believing the advertising from the insurance company. They have conformed to believing the agents and the advisors who have been taught to sell that product that's the most profitable for the insurance companies. That's what they've been told to do. And that's what they do because they conform. They just follow the rules. They just follow what they're taught. They follow what the consultants tell them to do, which the consultants are going to tell them to do what's most profitable for the company. Of course they would. Now, let's flip it upside down. Would those insurance companies tell their advisors and agents and all their folks to sell whole life, which has to pay out 100% of the time, and then teach them how to design and engineer the whole life policy so that it has the lowest death benefit, the lowest cost of insurance, so the insurance company is getting the least amount of money, put the most amount of money into a rider called a paid up additions rider where the insurance company only gets paid roughly about 2%. Yep, it's a lot less. And then put term insurance on it? And what does that mean for the broker, the agent, and the people selling it? Well, it means that their commission just got reduced by 60 to 90%. Do you think the insurance companies and the financial companies out there want their brokers selling a product that pays the advisor 60 to 90% less? Do you think the agents and advisors could even survive on 60 to 90% less? The answer, no. And how do I know that? I went to my old managing partner and I asked him that exact question, and he said, he went through a whole thing, and he basically said, if the advisors were taught to do these policies this way and taught the infinite banking concept, I wouldn't have any advisors left to sell anything else, because none of them would be able to afford to live. None of them would be able to afford to make it. I would have a whole office filled with maybe one or two people that actually made it the hard way. And you know what those 1 or 2%, those 5%ers we'll call them, we'll go up to 5. Okay, what the 5%ers are? The people that created their destiny. The people that didn't take the path most followed. The people that did the hard work. And you know what the hard work is? Focusing every single day on solving somebody else's problem, no matter what the cost. And that cost is 60 to 90% less in commissions. Folks, this is how it works. And you know what? I got a video right in my bio right there. It's a 90-minute video or a 10-part video series. You should really watch it. It really breaks down how the infinite banking concept allows you to take back the banking functions in your life. And it does it in 2 examples. One, how to get all the money back for every car you buy, drive, and own. Would you like to know that? Would you like to know how every single car you ever buy for the rest of your life, you'll be able to get all the money back? Yeah, that's cool, right? Watch the video. And then if you're in debt, we show you how we worked through the infinite banking concept with a client, a chiropractor for that matter, and helped him pay $468,000 off in debt without working harder, longer, or taking any more risk. He didn't save any more money, and he paid his debt off completely in 6.5 years, which would have taken him 19 years under the normal way of paying off his debt. You want to learn how to do that? You want to learn what the infinite banking concept is? You want to learn why it's not a scam, why it's not a hoax, why it actually works? Watch the 90-minute video in the bio and book a call with one of our money mentors, and we'll see if we can solve your problem. Let's talk about another thing about investing the difference that most people don't think about: human emotions. So when people invest the difference, like I said, they invested in mutual funds, maybe ETFs, maybe stocks, maybe a variable annuity, whatever they invested in that their advisor tells them to do. And what happens, right? Well, they're making money, and they're making money, and then all of a sudden, the market takes a dump. I mean, we hit a recession. It happens, and it's going to happen very soon. So then their portfolio goes down, down, and down, and they just see reds, and they just start getting panicked, and they start getting emotional, and they start thinking, oh my God, I can't lose anymore. And what do? What do they do almost every time? Sell low. They sell. They sell when they shouldn't. Contrary to what the advisor says, oh, it's just a paper loss, oh, don't do it. It's human emotion, folks. I saw this firsthand for the 16 years as a financial advisor. I saw it happen every single time the market took a dump. People would sell, and it wasn't because they didn't think it was going to go up. It was because of human emotion at the time. Circumstances, maybe they lost their job, maybe they were behind in bills, maybe they just thought, I can't lose anymore, and they sell. It's game over. Human emotion is one of the most powerful things that will derail your investment portfolio. So why do 80% plus of all buy term invest the different clients fail? Because they failed to understand the concept they were being told to buy into. They failed to understand that the term policy ends in a term of time. They failed to understand that investments don't always go up. It's not like go to the moon. No, they don't always go up. They go up, down, and sometimes they go down significantly. And we call those recessionary periods, correction periods, whatever you want to call it. And when that happens, human emotion kicks in, game freaking over. And you know what the worst part about that is? When we look at buy term invest the difference, those families no longer have protection for their loved ones. So when they do die, they typically don't have any life insurance. And their next generation has to basically come up and pay for the burial, they have to pay for the cemetery, they have to pay for all of the funeral expenses because a failed plan. I'm not saying that's going to happen to you, but I've seen it happen too many times. I've seen that same strategy where people are getting to the end of their term and they start panicking, oh my God, I'm not gonna have life insurance. They probably in their mind like, oh gosh, I hope something happens before that term policy ends, which is a terrible thing to think about. Why not just get a plan, a life insurance policy that never ends? Then you don't need to worry about it. And why not get a life insurance policy that works 100% of the time? And why not design and engineer that whole life policy so that you have a bunch of cash value that you can use to pay for cars and pay off debts and fund retirements and buy businesses and invest in real estate and lend money? That's right. Why not have guarantees for the rest of your life? I don't know. People want to roll the dice and hope that buy term invest the difference is better, or they want to conform to what Dave and Susie and Primerica agents out there say. And I'm trying to call out the haters because they hate on me. So all of you folks that I just spoke to, start telling the truth. Start showing your clients the real side of what can happen when buy term invest the difference doesn't work over 80% of the time. Tell them that. And then maybe come over to this side where you can create that financial future for your clients, and that is called the infinite banking concepts, a process that allows your clients and all of you to take back the banking functions. Folks, I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you like this video, check this one out right here, the money multiplier method. Remember I mentioned the video in the bio? So there it is again. Watch it, learn it, and get all the money back for every car you ever buy, drive, and own. We'll see you on the next one.